We're good. Everyone's in.
Okay, good. Well, welcome everybody. I am so excited to finally be to this day. We started working on this, I think in 2017. But that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk a little bit about we're going to talk, today is the official launch for Start-Grow Upstate, your connection to business resources. We're going to start off though, talking about how we got here and why this was an important project for 10 at the Top and ultimately the Upstate Entrepreneur Ecosystem to work on. Then we are going to do a demo of it, and then we will have some Q&A. And for anyone who wants to continue to stay around and visit, because you know I'm all about let's have some social time or some networking time. We'll do some breakouts and follow Phil Yanoff's rules for how to have a good networking meeting. So I want to make sure though that we do recognize our sponsors. As you probably know, the Upstate Entrepreneur Ecosystem has practically no budget. And so our sponsors are very important to help make sure that we can do things like this. So Ogletree Deacons, which has been a long-time sponsor, especially of our workshops, Trejo Corporation, another workshop long-time sponsor, and then SCRA and Hunter Freeman for Burr Foreman. They joined us at the end of last year or early this year as additional sponsors. So we are thankful to them. And if anyone else feels like they would like to sponsor, we will be happy to talk with you about that and then highlight you and all the things that we do. So let's go back to 2017. This is when we first started to get together as a group of people who worked with entrepreneurs and business owners. And we're just trying to figure out how we can help them be more successful better, how we could make connections and do our jobs better, essentially. But we came out, but in the end, I don't know if y'all can see my arrow, it was our biggest hurdle was this public awareness of entrepreneur support resources. And this is actually a slide from a presentation from back then. So it was this public awareness. And then we went to, and as we moved forward, we learned that public awareness was really pretty important because we met Mary Beth, the entrepreneur, and learned from the Kauffman Foundation and others that there was such a thing as an entrepreneur ecosystem, and that Mary Beth would be more successful faster as an entrepreneur if all of us were connected to each other. If we could send her to the right person at the right time, then she would be on her way, much happier and more successful. So we did a couple of things. We put together our asset map, which sat on the 10 at the Top website. And we also put together an alternative capital providers list on 2018. I don't think anybody ever went to the map on the website, but lots of folks did use the alternative capital providers list. We, in 2019, we put together work groups after deciding what was important to us. Intersections originally started off as the common calendar group, then decided that it needed to be bigger and determine a way for entrepreneurs and support providers to interconnect, to share information. And then we had another group called Connecting the Disconnected, which looked at the question of how do we connect those who are outside of the concentration of resources and getting them into the ecosystem. And then telling the stories. How do we tell the stories not only of the entrepreneurs, but of the ecosystem support providers? And so we put together those groups, and then of course the pandemic came and they stopped their work, but they had done a good bit of work which provided direction for how we were going to move forward with Start-Grow Upstate. In December of 19, some of you will remember this, we got together and we pulled out our phones and we said, okay, and we pulled out Google and we Googled startup help and funding for startups, and not much came up. And not much came up in our region. SBA came up a lot. Ben Calhoun's SBDC came up, but not much more. So we were like, we've got to do something about this. So we obviously 2 years later, hadn't done much on the awareness building front. So we had Stephanie Aker come in, and she talked to us about how we could, within our organizations, how we could amplify our message. And that was the last meeting that we attended before COVID. And during COVID, as you know, we did quite a few meetings about just how to adapt and how the rules changed. But in the background, Justine and I were still ruminating on all the things that y'all had talked about within your work groups and what was needed out there. So we came up with a new brand called Start-Grow Upstate, your connection to business resources, and started trying to find someone who could fulfill the need for this business resource and for this online resource. But we also, in the meantime, asked folks to interview each other for informational videos. So we were doing that in the fall. And then ultimately, in December of 2020, I met a young woman out of Baltimore who had a company that did ecosystem resource navigators, and they had algorithms that would self-populate the sites, and that was vital to what we wanted to do. It also was very, very well priced. I don't know if any of you have looked at these types of platforms, but they run $50,000 to $100,000 depending on how much functionality you wanted. We were able to get this for substantially less, which of course was important since we don't have much of a budget. But we contracted with her in February of 2021, and some of you may have seen it in May of this year, where we kind of rolled out a beta for y'all to test it and give us some feedback. And now this is the official launch. So we are going to go to this site and do a little bit of a demo. But Justine, did you have something?
No, I was clapping.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Yes, I know, it's so great to be here. And I do not have the chat on, so I can't see if you have anything, just if you have any questions, but I do ask that if you have questions, for now, put them in chat, but if you also have suggestions, to put those in chat as well. But after we do the demo, we will have some time to do Q&A in person, verbally, rather than having someone read off. I think that we can all raise our hand and talk to each other. And then, but again, please, all suggestions that you have, put them in chat so that we can have a recording of those. So, but now for our Start-Grow website, what I would like for you to do is to pull out either your phone or get to your desktop or your laptop and get to a browser and type in startgrowupstate.com. So here we go. I don't think you can see this screen. So let me change the screen share for me to a different share. Here we go. Okay. Oh, still on the PowerPoint. Hold on. Stop share. That should be it. Here we go. Startgrowupstate.com. Oh. Good. So now this is a time when I'm going to be dependent on you to nod or either take yourself off of mute and say yes or no, because I'm going to walk you through your own computer or your own phone or your own laptop or whatever, so that you can practice with the site yourself. All right, does everybody have the site up? Yes. Okay. All right, very good. All right, so you will see on this front page, we made it very welcoming and very easy for people to jump right in if they want to and search for information. We also, if someone wanted to look for more information, we said, okay, or they weren't really sure what they were looking for, we said we gave them options of programs, people, or events. If you scroll down a little bit more, you will see that there's a little bit of an explanation of Start-Grow Upstate. How do you use it? We have a picture of some students from a lab at Clemson University, so more personalized with our region. And then if you go a little bit further, you will see that there are some upcoming events and deadlines listed at the bottom. Everybody see that? Now, those of you who are on how many of you are on cell phones? And if you can't, okay, so we've got quite a few of you on your cell phone. The cell phone is not quite optimized for use yet, but we are working on that. But you will still be able to find what you need to find. All right, so now we're going to go back up to the top. Let's scroll back up to the top to our search box. And I would like for everybody to type in business plan. This business plan, and then click for search. All right, are you there? Okay, so you will see, if you start to scroll down, boxes with the name of a program, and then some tags, and then a brief description of the program itself. And if you scroll down, you will see that there are many different types of programs that not only teach you how to put together a business plan, but there are some that require business plans. So if you scroll down, you'll see quite a few of those. But I would like for you to go back up to the top, and let's click on Community Works Women's Business Center. So let's click on that. And you will see that we now come to a resource profile. Are you there? Yeah, okay. All right, so at this resource profile, right at the very top, you can click to go straight to their website. That's really the point, and that's why on our logo, we have arrows coming in and then a red arrow going out. This is not where we want people to spend their time. We want them to find what they need and go to the website or to the resource that has the information or the help for them. But if you scroll down a little bit, you will see something missing, suggest an edit to this program. Well, this is not perfect, and it will never be completely up to date. And also, the way that this information is populated is the algorithm or the software goes out to your site and pulls text from your website. And they have tried to find the most appropriate text for this. But if it's not exactly right, there's two things. One, you may need to change something on your website, or email us or click on this something missing here and let us know that if there's a different place on your site from which you would like the information to be captured. This allows us to update once a month. And so if you change something on your site, it will automatically update on the Start-Grow site. It also allows us to manage it without having to physically depend on an individual or a human resource to do that, which means, again, ultimately we will be hopefully more up to date than otherwise. But now I want you to scroll down to this where it says hosting organization. This is the organization, Community Works, that hosts this particular program. So let's click on the hosting organization, Community Works, and you will see the same profile here and a little button that says visit the website, and you're free to click the button to visit the website, but we're not going to do that here. There's some information on the profile, but if you scroll down even further, you will see there's a video. You see the video? All right, so everybody click the video. And these are introductions to the people who run the programs.
Good morning. My name is Crawford Reeves, and I'm here with Tammy Hoy-Hawkins with Community Works. And Tammy, tell me a little bit about Community Works and what all you guys do.
Absolutely, Crawford. Thanks for having me today. Community Works is a community development financial institution. So we're actually a non.
Thank you, Tammy, for that. These videos go back to telling the stories. so that anybody who visits our website gets a chance to meet the people actually in the organizations and see who they are firsthand as they explain how they can help business owners and entrepreneurs be more successful faster. Okay, so everybody get that? Good. Okay, so now we're going to go to a different place. So scroll back up to the top, and I'm going to click Explore. But those of you on your phone, you'll have the 3 little lines. And on your phone, when you click the lines, you want to click Resource Navigator. Okay, so when you click that, it will take you to something that looks like a bunch of file folders, except on your phone, they'll be sideways. Do you see them? And the first one that comes up is the one that's highlighted is industry. And you will see that there are a variety of industries highlighted within that folder, but we're going to go to who you are. So click on that folder. You see it? And we're going to go to Founders of Color. So click on Founders of Color, and you will automatically be taken to, again, these same tiles of all kinds of programs that support Founders of Color. So if in your community, you're trying to figure out how to address minority and disconnected populations, this has a substantial number of resources here. But we also want to do something else. When you will see over here that there's when you go to the very top of your phone, and also on the left of my screen, you will see that there's something that says filters. So we're going to click on Audience and go down here and click on Latinx Founders. And you will see that your tiles automatically change. So now we don't have our Black artists program here. And we do have quite a few of the Hispanic, well, obviously all the Hispanic ones are staying. But if you roll down all the way to the bottom, and it's pretty amazing when you look at the number of Hispanic support organizations that we have. But at the very bottom, there's some text that says, having trouble finding what you need. This is some direction on how to maybe change your search. But you also have the option of, if you need something and you can't find it, to fill out this form. And you just click there, it takes you to a form, asks you what you're looking for. And then that triggers us, Justine and I, as well as the organization, to look for you, or for what you're trying, or to look for what you're trying to find. Okay, all right, good. Now back up to the top of the page, and you'll see it also has this submit a resource button. So another way to submit a resource if it's not on here. What we're going to find is that after about 6 months of using this, it will be better than ever. It has some components where it will learn a little bit about how we search and what we're searching for. And then, of course, as we refine it over the months and it updates every month, it will, again, be even better. All right, so this time, we're going to look at for those of you on your phone, I want you to go to the Resource Navigator again. And if you're on and we'll do this again. And so we're going to go back to Explore, everyone. And this time, we are going to go to Resource Type. So this, and then when you're looking at resource types, I want you to go over here, scroll down to Registration. And you'll see that this page is titled Registrations and Permitting. So how do you find out how to register your business in a city? So City of Abbeville Business License Application, Contractor Business License Application, Vendor Contractor Packet. This is where, when folks come to you and they say, well, how do I get that business license? You can send them here to this registrations page. but also it has information about vendor registration. So if you want to do business with the city or county, these are ways to quickly find that spot on their particular web page. And here we have a South Carolina vendor and contractor registration. So this is for those who are in business and want to grow their business. Everybody see that? Okay, good. So we are going to go up here now to programs. Those of you who are have your cell phones, you won't have this button. You will have Explore Organizations. So I'm just going to go through this on the website. This shows a variety. This shows every program that's potentially out there. So what I'm just going to show here is that on the website, if you go to resource type and you click in registration, it gets you to the same thing. So there's more than one way to get to this information. Okay, so now we're going to move on to organizations. On those of you on your phone, it will be Explore Organizations. So go back up to the three little lines and click on Explore Organizations. And I'll click on Organizations. So explore people and organizations here. Submit something if it's not on here. But this time we want to go to organization type. So we're going to filter here to organization type, and we'll scroll down to Main Street organization. And it will automatically change the tiles for you to see. So Main Street organizations, we have downtown Anderson, downtown Spartanburg, Division Williamston, Main Street Lawrence. We don't have all of them. I could tell you right now, we don't have Greenwood, but we do have Lawrence. So we're all, the site is learning, and we're learning what else needs to be added. Kind of a trade-off for having it digitalized rather than having a human manage it. Okay, so now let's clear our filters. And let's go up here to events. So if you're on your phone, it says Explore Events. This goes back to our intersections work group that started off as a common calendar. Well, we have been able to do the common calendar for them. And you will see right at the very top, submit your event. We try to capture as many events as we can because this is mostly human managed here, mainly because we have a bug in the non-human managed part of this. But you will see it's pretty amazing how many events we have in the upstate to support businesses that are starting and growing. Next week is going to be a bang-up week with things going on. So if you, like, for example, if you're talking to an entrepreneur and they have a very specific issue, they could go to create YouTube videos that attract new customers that is sponsored by the Small Business Development Center, and they can click right here on the link to register. Did y'all see all that? Good. The ones that are not working is if you go up here to, right, let me get to the right spot, like this, the virtual summer business and innovation boot camp at Furman University. If you see something like this where it doesn't have a description, these are the ones that we're fixing right now. They come from the algorithm search engine. So, but most of them work. So those are our events, and you will see in our upstate, we're staying pretty busy throughout July, August, September, October, November, and almost even into December. It's y'all just do a great job of creating programming to support our entrepreneurs. And now we have a way for everyone in the upstate to find exactly the resources that they need or get very close to the resources that they need, be it a person, a program, or a webinar, training event, in order to start or grow their business to be more successful faster. Okay, that is the demo. So let's stop for a minute and let's take a few questions. Let's see, we have a few things in chat. Oh, Katrina. We're on top of it. We're on top of it. Katrina said that she saw that the event she had today was already on the calendar, and she sent a reminder out yesterday. We'll see, when it's human powered, we can be that fast. And I was actually going to use that, but I was like, oh, but it happened earlier as an example of an event. So, but thank you for that. So Tammy asks if we can filter geographically. Not at this point. If there's enough people who want to do that, we will certainly find a way to make that happen.
I was just thinking, Erin, about like if folks were very like specifically interested in like the resources in Greenville or in Anderson or Spartanburg or whatever that specific target market may be. But if that's something that would be needed or not, if some folks aren't necessarily the entire upstate, or if a business is located in a certain area. So that was my only reason for asking.
Yeah, and that's something that has been talked about, because if it turns out more regions of our state want to incorporate the same EcoMap organizational resource navigator, the question has come up, how do we partition it off by region? And so that's certainly in the works, but thank you for bringing that up, because now we can go back and say, y'all have asked about it. Good. Questions? Anybody?
I guess I have another one since
Okay,
I'm unmuted. So so what you had said for us to do now that you're kind of launched and live, and I know I saw it when it was in test mode too, and we should be making recommendations or edits or updates if something's like not correct or things like that, or if we want to tweak that a little bit depending on our organization and kind of how it's represented. So just spending some time doing that would be helpful for you guys.
Yes, and the important piece there is that the text under your resource description comes from your website. So if it needs to come from a different place on your website, include that information with an email to us with your explanation, or if you just want to do it through the site. But it just include where it is on your site. And they said that they generally went to the front page or the about page to find information. But that's another good question. Anybody else? Well, we have found, so now that you've seen this, when you receive an email from someone that says, how do I find out how to get a business license? You can just send them over to Start-Grow-Upstate.com. If someone wants to know, if you're in a meeting with a client and they want to know how to do something in manufacturing, you can send them to Start-Grow-Upstate.com, because they could find the SCMEP, or Manufacturing Extension Partnership, on there. If they want to find an event on, let's see, SCRA has an event tomorrow on, is it tomorrow, crowdfunding, on crowdfunding, funding your startup in crowdfunding. Let me see. 17, growth capital and crowdfunding for startups. So if they're looking to understand crowdfunding, got a great event right there tomorrow, sponsored by SCRA. So this becomes kind of your digital Rolodex as as we move to the next, as we continue to move into the information age. It can be helpful to you, but it also can be helpful to any entrepreneurs, business owners out there. Questions? All right, well then, we also would like for you to think about placing a button on your website that's where people can link to additional resources in the upstate. And if you have questions about how to do that, please email me or Justine, and we can help with that. But it's, you know, https://startgrowupstate.com.
It looks great. Erin, I just had a question about language inclusion.
Yes.
And I didn't see where we could change. If there's a place, maybe I'm overlooking it.
Not yet. Not yet, Lakeisha, but that's a great question. And we will post that to them. Because I know that there are plugins that we can use for that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, great. Good question. Other things? No, gosh, y'all, no questions? Okay. All right. Well, since you're here, you know me, I can't miss an opportunity for everybody to get together and visit. So, as I said earlier, in the Phil Yanoff method, we're going to break you up into small groups, breakout rooms. And I hope that you will stay for this. If not, I certainly understand. But when you go into your breakout rooms, and I have a slide for this, let me share my screen again.
Erin, while we're waiting on you to do that, I got a question real quick.
Okay.
Do the events only show the free, are any of these paid events that people would have to sign up and pay for, or are you really capturing just the free events?
I don't know, but I do know that what is on there that I know of is mostly free.
Okay.
Because we are scanning the calendars from, you know, you, SBDC, from SCORE, Women's Business Center, Community Works, SCRA, Next, Village Launch, Tech Bridge, Acre, South Carolina Community Loan Fund has events, Savannah Council of Government sometimes will have events.
I would think that from what I've seen, it's mostly if it's a large conference that you would pay registration for, but that's it so far.
Okay.
Yes, there is a conference that's a little bit, yes, Justine, that's a good point. There's a conference in July, August for the naval aviation that's part of Tech Bridge. That I think there's probably a fee for that, but it's also, they also are doing it virtually, so it would not be quite as expensive. That's a good question. Okay, all right, so we're going to put you in groups, and what I want you to do is look at the events calendar and choose 3 events that you think are most interesting to you. And I would expect that those will be different because y'all serve different entrepreneurs, or you have different entrepreneurs coming into your group, or you may have been curious about something. So look for 3 events and why you think that that's important. And then if you don't know everybody, then please introduce yourself, and then we'll get back together and we'll wrap it up. Okay? That way you can kind of play with it a little bit on your own in your group too. All right, any questions? All right, welcome back everyone, and thank you for mixing and mingling just a little bit. Anybody have anything just crazy off the wall, or that you were most, actually, let me ask very specifically. So what event did you find that was most surprising to you? Anybody? Oh, come on. Okay.
They just chatted. They were just
Okay,
chatting.
well, that was good. All right, so did
Well,
anybody?
I'll say one of the things we said that was beneficial about the calendar, not necessarily a specific event, but was that if we're planning an event, it gives you a good opportunity to see what else is going on out there. So like, if you're looking at Monday, the 31st of June, you're like, oh my gosh, there's 4 events at 8 p.m. You know, like, let's not plan our event for that day or things like that. I mean, not only submitting your events and that it has your events on here, but it's also for planning purposes. That was sort of a good central location to know when not to do something or when to do something, what might be beneficial.
Okay, that's a very good point. Brian Brady brought that up in our group as well. Were you surprised at the extent of events or the breadth of topics? Y'all are so
Yes.
quiet.
It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Like,
Well-
is there, oh, there is a more, that's what I was going to say on today, right? Today, there's a more button. I was going to ask you what happens when you have, say, 10 events on one day, but I see the answer.
Yes. All right. And then there's a question about from Sarah Carter. So I don't think the BMW event was on the calendar. What was that event?
Oh, that's the big event. Are you talking
Pro-Am.
about the one that's coming up?
The golf
The,
tournament?
The Pro-Am.
Golf tournament that happened last weekend?
No, the one that's coming up where you tour the plant and they have all the vendors in, and we actually have a table during that day. Let's see.
Diversity supplier event, is that what it is?
That's
That's
it.
it. That's the one. I can drop the link in the chat box as soon as I put my fingers back on it.
Sarah, that would be great. Because no, we do not have that on there.
Okay.
And we
Happy
can
to.
add that.
Mhm.
Good. Good. All right. Any other questions?
No, just a comment. I really like the ability to add those events because, you know, the BMW is an example, but I know it'll be, there's going to be opportunities where, you know, events will be continually be updated. So I think that's a good resource.
Good. Well, Brian, thank you. And please know that event is screened and does not go directly to the calendar. So the chance of it getting bogged down with for-profit, learn how to speak, you know, learn how to present and pay me a lot of money, those things will not necessarily get onto the calendar. It's truly learning education. Not that you wouldn't learn there.
Is this,
So
is
if
this
you want
screen scraping?
Pardon me?
Is this screen scraping off our events pages?
Yes, it is.
But then it goes through a screening before it gets posted?
The ones that are scraped do not, but that's what we're working on. It's because it's not working correctly. But Ken, I did see the email today about save the date for the venture pitch.
Well, this has certainly demonstrated we need to keep our events page much more up to date because I don't think we are. This gives us more reason to do that. Yeah, that's on us.
Okay. So,
We're woefully behind on keeping our events up to date. So
now the more up to date everyone is, the more up to date the central calendar is. So thanks to everybody. Okay. Well, I'm not going to hold you anymore. I really appreciate all of this. Just startgrowupstate.com. Send it, share it. If you see it on social, we have a great social media campaign going on right now because as we know, if you build it, they do not come. You have to promote it. So we will be promoting it. Y'all please promote it as well and let us know questions, suggestions. Have a great day.
Great
Erin,
job. Congrats.
Can I
Thanks,
share it?
y'all.
Can I share it now, Erin, with individuals to take a
Oh,
look
everybody.
at?
Everybody.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Just want to make sure. Hey, Anna. Hey, Tammy. Want to get that in real quick?
Good
It's a
to
great
see
to
you.
y'all.
Nice to meet you, Lakeisha.
You as well. Y'all have a
friend
great one. Hey,
Franny.
Franny.
Bye.
Hey, Fran. Brady. I get to see all my friends virtually.
Andrew,
We're just
nice to
friends.
meet you.
All right. Y'all have a great one.
All right. Yep. Keisha, you too.
Katrina, I need to talk with you. Oh,
Oh, how dare she?
You're on my list to email or call.
can you introduce us somehow? Because I've been trying desperately to meet with her in some shape, form, or fashion. We've had people saying they can't reach her and no way to make that connection. And I know COVID had a lot to do with it, but just trying to make that connection.
I will. And I did email her yesterday about, I don't know, about she had sent me the flyer for the event and I emailed her and said that we would like for her to think about being on our brew team. And I have not heard back from her, but I know she had her event today.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
so hopefully in the next day or so.
Perfect.
And I will
Love
definitely do that. After I hear from the brew,
it.
I'll connect you.
Wonderful. I love the scarf. And the web address is going to NDGs and not Start Me Spartanburg. So I sent you all a request just to change the Start Me URL to Start Me Spartanburg. That was it.
Oh, thank you. Excellent.
And we're updating that now. So it'll change. So what people will see whenever they look at it, it'll change immediately. We're
Good.
revamping the entire website.
Good. It updates on the 25th of each month.
Okay.
This is good timing. And I need to get with you about how it went at the two brew meetings this week.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe so later in the week.
Perfect. Just
Yeah.
not next week, 8-year anniversary.
Oh, no, where are y'all going?
We're going back to Gatlinburg. We're trying to go to Aruba, but we couldn't get those dates. So, but we're going back to Gatlinburg, which is not nice, still nice, you know.
Oh my goodness. I have a friend who went up there a few weeks ago and she said it was fantastic and she had a great time and they
Yeah.
played and had fun.
Exactly. That's all we're planning to do.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Great. to
thanks,
see you.
ladies.
Thank
Have a
you
great
so
one.
much. All right.